Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Observation Reactions. The newest Battlefield trailer just dropped, and we're going to do a blind react.
Yes, I don't know about you. I am really excited about this to the point where I believe it was announced on Twitter a week ago that this trailer was coming out on June 9th, and I put it on our calendar immediately. We have to do a reaction on this because I'm a really big fan of the Battlefield franchise. Are you a fan of it? Have you played any of the games?
So it's interesting. I've never owned Battlefield before, but I was also in this weird phase where, when I got my Xbox, I only owned GTA 5, and that's all I played for about 2 years straight.
I remember
But
I was playing with you for a lot of
yeah,
that.
yeah. So, I only recently, got the newest COD, um, Cold War.
Mhm.
But I've loved that, and I have played. Um, I think it was. I want to say it was Battlefield 4. Um, I have played it before, and I remember it was really stunning, and the destructible environments
Mm.
like blew my mind.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I would be interested in playing it again. I'm just curious as how it's going to compete with Cold War.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I mean, Jay, just to give a little context to my history with the franchise, I do consider myself to be a big Battlefield fan, even though I must confess, and I hope this doesn't out me as a casual. I have only played one of the games. I've only owned one of the games, and that was Battlefield 1. But Battlefield 1 for me is easily one of my favorite first person shooters of the 2010s, if not just one of my favorite games. I mean, that was a game that I could come back to it came out in 2016. I came back to it in 2017, 2018, 2019, even last year, and had just as much fun, if not more, with it than I did when it came out. I mean, that game it excelled on every level of what I want from a first person shooter. And I was really excited for the next one, but of course, Battlefield 5, when that reveal trailer came out, and it
That
really
was
jumped, yeah, it
that
jumped
was
the
rough.
shark. Yeah, and the launch was a mess, and it just, it wasn't a total disaster. It's still a Battlefield game. A lot of people bought it, but it was definitely a disappointment relative to Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1. So a few years have passed now, 3 years, and DICE is coming back to it. This is their flagship, and right off the bat, I can see that we have neither of us have watched this trailer yet, but I can see the title of it. This is going to be Battlefield
Battlefield
2042,
2042.
which is Battlefield 2042 has been something that DICE, the developers, have been teasing for years. The fans have been asking for it for years. Battlefield, the last two were historical, World War II and World War One, and before that, it was mainly a modern day type thing, except for Battlefield 1942. Um, but they've never done future. They've done near future, but this is more distant future. And yeah, the fans I know have been just absolutely clamoring for it, and now it's happening. Battlefield with, as you said, with how dynamic it is and how vertical it is, with just the immense levels of detail that they put into everything, now taken and unleashed in a future setting. I'm really excited and interested to see what they do. So
I'm curious, but you say like, yeah, Battlefield kind of always followed this historical thing, and now they're jumping into the future, and that's what fans have wanted. But I feel like with the Call of Duty franchise, it's almost the opposite because they went through the same path, whereas doing different historical games, and then I mean historical in quotes, but um, when they jumped to the future, like those did not do well. They were
it's
not
true.
like the fans were not happy.
It's true. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if Battlefield is going to get it right, if it's just, you know, history repeating itself. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I
No.
think there's only one way to find out.
Yeah. No. It's true. And I think that the reason why I trust that Battlefield can succeed where Call of Duty with Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare frankly failed and failed pretty in a pretty big way
Yeah.
is because they're fundamentally different kinds of gameplay. Call of Duty is just run and gun, spray and pray, very short time to kill. And there's not a lot of strategy to it. Battlefield is very strategic in comparison to Call of Duty. And I think that, I don't know, we're about to watch this trailer, but I think you're going to see a lot less emphasis on the shiny objects of future first person shooters like wall running and jetpacks and all that stuff, and more of an emphasis on the setting, interesting new gameplay characteristics, and just all the ways that you can use the huge number of players in each individual match, 100 players relative to like 12 in your standard Call of Duty match.
Whoa.
Yeah, 50v50 on each side. And on huge maps, and emphasizing those aspects and making them futuristic versus, the gimmicks like jetpacks and wall running. So that's what I'm hoping for. Again, this could be another jump the shark like Battlefield 5, but I think they've had 3 years to reflect on it, and I'm hoping they get it right. So
This is game engine footage. This is impressive graphics.
oh,
Oh my god.
good start. Good start.
Oh my god. It's that Boston Dynamics dog. Whoa.
Oh my god, this is a rocket launch map. Yeah. Oh. Oh, that's yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's natural disasters? Battlefield? Oh. Round of applause. Round of applause. That was fantastic.
I know I said I was skeptical before, but I take it all back.
Yeah, I
I
mean
take
that.
every single thing back.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
looks right off the bat. I just want to say this game is self-aware, and I love that. That
mhm.
they've incorporated those like crazy battlefield moments into the trailer itself because they know that that's just what the community loves.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, and it's totally fair to be skeptical before you've watched the trailer because before the trailer, all you have is the latest game, which is Battlefield 5. But after the trailer, I don't see any reason for concern because that was excellent. I mean, that was truly everything that you could want out of a teaser for Battlefield 6, effectively. Yeah, I know it's Battlefield 2042, but I mean, this really is, the sixth mainline Battlefield game.
Yeah.
Um, wow, yeah, loved it. um, absolutely loved it. So I'm gonna pull
I
up the video again, and maybe we
yeah,
can
we
just
should
kind
we
of,
should take this piece by piece.
yeah, because there's a lot here. Um, so right off the bat, we start off in this like tundra setting. And the first thing that really grabs you about the trailer is you're reminded, just like what we were talking about, of how grand in scope Battlefield is compared to Call of Duty, for instance.
Yeah.
Because we play Call of Duty a fair amount, and your standard Call of Duty game is 6v6, 12 total players on a map that isn't particularly big. Um, and you compare that to Battlefield, which is known for these huge maps and these grand campaigns. That's what I loved so much about Battlefield 1 is that you felt like you were truly in the middle of a war. You have your side that's 50 people strong, and kind of the trademark of Battlefield 1 was that you had these grand campaigns, these operations, and whether if you were attacking, you and your 50-person team would move through various sectors, capture the sectors until you reach the final stronghold, and you would gain objectives, you would lose objectives, and there was a natural flow to battle. You felt like you were in the middle of an actual strategic campaign, whereas again in Call of Duty, you're just running around shooting people. There's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
strategy to it. It all happens so quickly there can't be. Um, but when you have 100 people on a huge map and you have a natural progression where one side either pushes up or gets pushed back, it just feels grand. And right off the bat, I mean, you get a sense of the scale of how many people are going to be in your average multiplayer match. I mean, it really puts Call of Duty to shame in that way, and that's one of the reasons why I really love this series. So we start off in this tundra setting, and there's this really cool skydiving section where they jump off this cliff to avoid this crashing helicopter. That was awesome. And
And then
then
this
we,
one dude gets caught up in the turbine. He
yeah,
gives
I
the
mean, just,
thumbs up and then just boom.
yeah, madness, madness. And then we're in this really cool city. I suspect we may even get more than one urban setting. Maybe not at launch, but as the game goes on, they start to get DLC for it. I think
Yeah.
we might see more than one urban environment. But even if it is the same city, it's going to be so big that you're not going to mind playing on it over and over again. Especially considering what we saw at the end of the trailer, which is natural disasters like a tornado. Like that's going to be crazy.
But like a tornado in a city. Well, okay.
It
Here's
happens.
here's the interesting thing is that it's Battlefield 2042, right?
Yeah,
2042. Um, I like that it takes place in the future, but it's not like that flying cars vision of the future.
right.
It's more, it's a lot more grounded than that. And it's like, yes, some things will change, but not a lot. Um, the world's not going to look drastically different in only 20 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but at the same time, it's like the idea of natural disasters becoming more and more prevalent due to climate change is a
Hmm.
very real thing that is actively happening.
Exactly.
I think actually it would be really cool if they had some kind of map in a foresty setting
Hmm.
where there's a forest fire that just happens randomly and it
Right.
starts like cutting off pieces of the map randomly.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, just like what we were saying, I mean, that's, and I mean, look, not hating on Call of Duty, because again, I mean, I play Call of Duty a lot. We play Call of Duty a lot together. So I'm a fan of both series. But the reason why, if I had to pick one, I would pick Battlefield every single time is because frankly, Battlefield is just smarter than Call of Duty in a lot of ways, you
Yeah.
know? Like, just as you were saying, the idea of incorporating natural disasters is not only a lot more realistic for just 20 years into the future, but that's going to make a much bigger and much more appreciated gameplay difference than gimmicky stuff like
It's
jetpacks and
exciting.
laser guns.
It makes it eliminates that predictability that you have in Call of Duty
Exactly.
gameplay.
Exactly. And that's the thing is that when Call of Duty did futuristic stuff, that's what they were doing. Wall jumps, jetpacks, laser guns, corny stuff. But stuff like natural disasters, that's not only very real, but that's going to impact your gameplay in a major way, in a major different way every single match. And that's what I think makes Battlefield great is they think of that stuff. They make those maps so dynamic that you could play the same map over and over and over again and get a different experience every time because the consequences of a building collapsing or a tornado destroying the entire city will change the dynamics of the game every single time. And I just think that's awesome. And so we go from the city setting to what seems to be like some sort of beach tanker. This is going to be really cool because as we see, I mean, you have 50 people on your team, and everyone's going to be running around, moving through shipping containers, and probably rappelling down the ship and parachuting onto the ship. That's going to be really cool. Um,
I love the robot dog.
oh yeah, the
That
robot
was really
dog is very
fun.
cool. Yeah, also the ice lake. I was really taken aback by
That
that.
was cool.
Yeah, I really liked that. You're gonna have this. I guess it's like I guess it's like an airboat, but an armored, weaponized airboat. That goes on top of the frozen ice.
And then
But
that tank that you see with the where it's like way up off the ground
yeah,
and super high speed, that actually is a real thing. Not this specific model. This is obviously like a futuristic take on it, but
yeah.
it's kind of cool to see this relatively obscure vehicle showing up in this.
Oh, totally. Especially because it may be obscure now, but who's to say? In 20 years,
Yeah.
tanks might become more. In fact, I think we've already kind of seen this. I mean, you look back at World War II versus modern tanks. Modern tanks have gotten more. The firepower that they are equipped with has not diminished at all. In fact, it's improved greatly from older tanks, but they're lighter and they're more maneuverable than older tanks. And so it makes sense in 20 more years, military technology might get to the point where they do become more lightweight, but you can have more of them, and they become,
Yeah.
even more like support units as opposed to dedicated cavalry, so to speak, mechanized cavalry.
I mean,
Um,
that was a huge issue with tanks was that they would just get stuck all the time.
exactly,
Like a tank's greatest weakness was just a ditch.
exactly. This tank's not getting stuck though.
Yeah, this thing's
Yeah,
I
you're not
I
gonna have
would
that same
honestly be
problem here.
surprised if this thing couldn't even uh like become an aquatic vehicle too.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
look at the shape of it.
Oh, totally. Yeah. In fact, I would honestly pretty much expect that. And the next map is the first one. I mean, I love all the maps we've seen, but this is the one where I kind of cheered a little bit when I saw it.
A
The rocket
rocket.
launch,
A
yeah, this
goddamn rocket.
exactly. And I mean, this is if you go to the still at 2 minutes 5 seconds. I mean, again, you can pick out a still and it gives you a great sense of the scope of this thing. Again, it's a massive battle with dozens and dozens and dozens of people. And I just imagine how, because it's not just going to be a flat platform and a rocket. You're going to have the platform, the rocket. You're probably going to have a mission control complex.
Bunkers,
Yeah,
like
bunkers. Yeah, you're probably going to
equipment
have a
storage.
seaside area. I mean,
You
it's
you
just,
might even be able to go inside the rocket
yeah,
before it takes
I,
off.
I reckon you probably could. In fact, the rocket itself could be an objective of some kind. So yeah, this made me really excited, to see that there's going to be a map like this. That's going to be really cool, especially with the rocket launch mechanic. That's going to make for some fascinating gameplay.
And then if we keep going, we have this
This
another
city,
even more futuristic looking city.
yeah, and so we might actually get two different cities at the launch of this game, which would
I
be
hope so. That would be,
incredible because
yeah.
this city looks different than the other city. This is a city that's got lots of neon lights. It's in the middle of a desert. Um,
Which is I'm a little confused by because if you look at these actual sand dunes, they like go right up to the edge of the buildings and even leak far into the city,
yeah, I
which
noticed that.
suggests that like the desert itself, all the sand is like kind of migrating, being pushed into what was already established. So I guess that would be a different
Yeah,
form of,
that's another natural disaster. That's a
yeah.
desertification, which is another very real thing that's happening. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was another thing that they were featuring here.
But it's beautiful.
It is really stunning. And this is, of course, where we get, again, another classic Battlefield moment. You saw this all the time in Battlefield 4. Someone drives an ATV off of a skyscraper to take out a helicopter. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, the fact that there would be an ATV on top of a skyscraper itself is only because like that's the type of thing you do in Battlefield.
Exactly. And again, another great moment where you have two fighter jets in a dogfight. The first pilot ejects from his plane, takes out his rocket launcher, and uses it to take out the fighter jet behind him. Brilliant.
It's this game like knows what it is. It knows exactly what
Exactly.
it's trying to be, and I think that's fantastic. I think
It's
that's where Call of Duty struggles a lot of the time, especially with that like Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare.
mhm.
It didn't know what it was trying to do. It was just like, they want future. I guess we'll give them some future, but it's the same gameplay as all these historical games. But this is like it's classic Battlefield, just a new setting, looks
Exactly.
even better.
All the stuff you love. I mean, yeah, and the trailer ends with that tornado, which I mean, it doesn't get much more dynamic than that. I mean, as far as disasters go, a disaster which literally levels the city you're fighting in, and just causes total chaos. I mean, imagine being in the middle of a match and all of a sudden you're being lifted into the air, your vehicle's being lifted into the air, everyone is being lifted into the air, the building you're in collapses. Um, I mean, yeah, it is. I am so excited for this game. I mean, it is thrilling to see. Um, Battlefield's back, you know?
It's back.
As
Yeah, it's
far as
back,
I'm
baby.
concerned, Battlefield has just been gone for 5 years. You had Battlefield 1 and then nothing, and now this game. And there has been nothing in between. It's just been a long development for this game. That's my head canon, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I think that's just it's just what it is.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's so hard to say because at the time we're filming this, we're right before E3. So we're going to get a lot of big announcements in the next few days, and so we'll have a much better idea of what our most anticipated game of the year might be, and we're actually going to do a couple shows on that next week talking about exactly that. But
Hmm.
to the extent I have most anticipated game of 2021 in this moment, it is hands down Battlefield. Battlefield I feel like has almost single-handedly kind of reattuned me to, exciting new stuff coming out in gaming this year because 2020 was of course kind of, it was a really slow year. We got a few big releases, but not a lot of major stuff. A lot of the focus was on the new consoles. which themselves have been in kind of a slow start.
Yeah.
And for this year, I mean, the only big releases were like Far Cry 6. I know is kind of been getting some press, but other than that, I mean, it's been once. Oh, and also Resident Evil 8 has been pretty big in the last few weeks.
Was Cold War not this year?
That was last year. That was
That was
2020.
last year. Wow.
Yeah, if
Whoa.
it feels more recent, right? But yeah, that was last November, I believe it came out. Um, and so, but other than that, we haven't really gotten a good idea of what's coming out late this year, where you get the majority of the big games. But this has brought me back, baby. The hype is back.
It's yeah.
Bring on
I'm
Battlefield 5.
looking at this trailer. I'm very excited, but I do also feel the need to critique it a little bit and then my concerns.
Hmm.
I'm very excited, but I'm gonna stay a little reserved until we see the actual gameplay trailer.
Of course.
And here's why. Um, the entire trailer was created in using the game engine
Mhm.
footage,
Yes.
which means that's what it's going to look like, or at least what it's capable of looking like.
Right. Yeah.
So graphically, it's going to be amazing. I think
Mhm.
Battlefield has always been better than Call of Duty in that aspect.
Definitely.
This game will be no different. But all of those features, all of those cinematic moments were obviously handcrafted just within the game engine, but it's not gameplay. Um, so there's that aspect of it, but at the same time, if it's in the game engine, that means those environments are real.
Hmm.
All of the assets you see, pretty much everything you see on screen is real in some sense. So they have
Right.
all of those character models, they have all those vehicles, they have all those settings. And I would think that means the tornado itself is like, it is an entity that exists in the game engine.
Right.
Um, or at least I'm hoping it is. It could have just
I, I'm
used like
I'm
wind graphics. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't have put the tornado in the reveal trailer without that being a feature in the game itself,
Yeah,
because
but
people are
it's
going to
just
expect it.
yeah, we're gonna expect it. But the thing to keep in mind is that a lot of times these game engine footage trailers kind of they're meant to hype up the
Yeah,
gameplay.
yeah, they're very
Um,
glossy. They're very highly produced. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and they might be visually a lot better than the actual
Oh,
gameplay. So
totally.
that's
Yeah.
just a fair warning.
No, totally. And
Uh,
I'm with you 100% because I think any responsible gamer is not going to watch a reveal trailer and go drop $60 on a pre-order straight away. I don't think that any responsible gamer should, pre-order a game based off without having seen any gameplay or anything like that. It's a bad idea. Or even once you do get a gameplay trailer, I would say wait a bit. In general, I'm
yeah,
not in favor of pre-orders, but sometimes, if you're so certain you're going to buy a game, there are benefits. But never pre-order a game without seeing something real. And so I'm with you 100% on that. Um, and the good news is we're not gonna have to wait long because apparently in just a few days we are gonna get the gameplay reveal at E3. So I am looking forward to that. But
yeah,
I am with you 100%. Don't go rushing out to Amazon, rushing out to GameStop or Best Buy or wherever you buy your games without seeing something real. That's very good advice.
yeah. And the other concern I have um, is that one of the things that I never played Battlefield 1.
Hmm.
And I never played the game that definitely didn't come out after that. Um, I've only played Battlefield 4, but that had some destructible environments where they were player destroyed, essentially.
Yeah.
You drive a tank through the wall, you plant a charge, shoot down this pillar, whatever. And one of the things I noticed for Battlefield 1 is they had that giant blimp on that
Right.
like
The
desert
behemoth
map.
vehicles. Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't played it, but from my perspective, it seems kind of like a scripted event almost,
Yeah.
where, it's up to the players to destroy the blimp, but it always kind of falls out of the sky in the exact same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
My concern is that a tornado like that will be kind of the exact same thing. Um, so I'm hoping they'll add some randomization to it, leave more of the destruction either in the hands of the player or just make it truly random.
Yeah.
We'll have to see in that gameplay trailer.
Yeah, no, I think that's also very valid. Because it's true, I've never had the pleasure of playing Battlefield 4. I've always wanted to. I remember watching that came out when like we were like 13, and
Yeah, yeah, that was a long time
I
ago.
remember watching it on YouTube and just thinking it looked like the coolest game ever. But I never got to play it myself. And I know that had a lot of, as you said, the players initiated a lot of that destruction, whereas in Battlefield 1, as you said, the players could destroy the behemoth weapons, and those could, alter the environments, but it was largely scripted. Um, and so it remains to be seen how that'll work in this one. It seems like it may even be a bit of both. You may have some player-initiated destruction, but you'll also have scripted events like the rocket launch and stuff like that. And I think when the tornado comes through, it'll probably follow the same or a very similar path, and it'll probably just cause destruction in the same way. But you could have other instances where players can destroy buildings, destroy other things, and so it could even be a bit of both.
Yeah,
And I might even prefer it that way because it's good to have really big events that can happen, but even if they're a little more predictable, and then also small to medium-sized destructive things that can happen, which are totally random and different every time.
yeah,
So I kind of hope it is a bit of both.
yeah. Because if you have those big scripted things that the players can initiate,
Hmm.
then for a lot of people, it's like they have this goal, they have something they can work towards.
Exactly.
But having the smaller things like being able to bust down a door to or bust through a wall to get carve your own path towards an objective, pulling
Right.
from that like Rainbow Six
I was
type
about to say Rainbow
of
Six. Yeah,
gameplay. That definitely makes the player feel more immersed and more in control.
definitely.
So you're 100% right. Having both would be very good.
Definitely. And it's very Battlefield. And also, I just wanted to quickly, reiterate what you said a while ago, which is another area where Battlefield excels is the graphics and the sound are always superb.
Yes.
Again, not to dunk on Call of Duty. Again, we both like Call of Duty, but Battlefield puts Call of Duty to shame when it comes to the graphical fidelity, the music, the audio quality. I mean, it's just night and day. I mean, again, Battlefield 1, I could boot it up right now, and that 5-year-old game would look better today than Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War runs
Yeah.
on the same system.
Yeah,
That's not
absolutely.
to say it looks bad, but there's a much higher level of quality in the Battlefield series. And they hold up longer as a result. Call of Duty, they don't look as good, but you don't mind because you're getting a new one every year. But Battlefield,
Yeah,
it takes 2 to 3 years, and it shows. Even when they're not as good, they're still pretty good, and they at least look good. And so, that's one thing that I've heard about Battlefield 5, the game that shall not be that must not be named, is that for all of its, for how disappointing it was at launch and how the gameplay was kind of a letdown compared to the previous games, it still looked great. And it's going to look even better, obviously, 3 years later with this. So I'm so excited to just feel that immersed in Battlefield again. Both with just the huge maps, so many players, the video and audio quality. Oh, it's going to be great. It's so great to
absolutely.
have Battlefield back. Welcome back, Battlefield. We've missed you. We really have.
It's been 5 years and we all know it.
Exactly, exactly. So my hat's off to Dice. Great job. The hype train is back in town for Battlefield.
Absolutely. Well, looks like we're just about out of time. Do you have any other last thoughts about
Oh,
what to
no,
expect or
yeah, no, not really. Just to say, as I said, I'm thrilled. Great reveal trailer. Did exactly what a teaser slash reveal is supposed to do. As you said, we haven't gotten any gameplay yet, but this is a great place to start. Outstanding. So great job, Dice. As I said, you brought the hype train back. It was gone. It was long gone,
we're
but now
back,
it's
baby.
it's back in the
We're
station.
back.
Yeah, all aboard.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the trailer just as much as we did. And we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody.
Good night.